Urgency used to mean something. A fire, a phone call in the middle of the night, a knock at the door. Now it sounds like a notification, a banner, a red dot, a just checking an email. None of it is life or death, but all of it feels immediate. And when urgency becomes background noise, your nervous system stops knowing when to relax. This video is sponsored by Cove, more on them later. Somewhere along the way, everything started feeling like it needed a response. You feel it when you read an email and don't respond right away, and your body acts like you just ignored someone waving at you in traffic. Not because it was important, but because it was there. Modern life didn't just get busier, it got louder. More insistent, more interruptive, and slowly, without anyone really deciding it, urgency became the default emotional setting. Not panic, not stress, just this low-grade sense that something is always slightly wrong. That you're missing something that you should probably check. What's strange is that when you zoom out, nothing is actually happening. No fire, no crisis, no emergency, just a steady stream of signals asking your body to react as if there is. Emails marked urgent, every news alert banner says breaking news, Slack messages that feel like they need an answer even when they don't, and apps that gently, politely, relentlessly tap you on the shoulder. Your brain doesn't know these things are harmless, it just knows they interrupt. And interruption to your nervous system feels a lot like a threat. This isn't about productivity, it's not about time management, it's not even about being busy, it's about calibration. Your nervous system evolved to respond to danger, but now it's being asked to respond to everything, so it never fully powers down. It never gets the all clear, it just stays ready. Which sounds useful until you realize how exhausting it is to live in permanent readiness. It's like your shoulders never drop, like your body is always waiting for a follow-up question. You can feel it in small ways. Rest feels underserved, silence feels uncomfortable, calm feels suspicious, like it's a trap. And if you enjoy it for too long, something bad is going to happen out of spite. You sit down to relax and your body goes, cool, but what are we ignoring right now? Even doing nothing starts to feel like falling behind. And you start reacting to signals instead of situations because your environment is constantly telling your nervous system, stay alert. What makes this tricky is that none of these things are emergencies on their own. A notification isn't dangerous, an email isn't a threat, a headline isn't a predator, but your body doesn't experience them individually. It experiences the accumulation. 100 tiny alerts, 1,000 micro interruptions, no real solution. It's like a car alarm, just loud enough to be annoying, not loud enough for anyone to help. And over time, this does something subtle. Your stress response stops being reserved for actual problems and becomes your baseline. Everything feels urgent, everything feels immediate, everything feels like it needs attention now, even when it really doesn't. I started noticing this in myself in a way that surprised me. I'd sit down at night after putting my daughter down, nothing due, nothing urgent, nothing wrong, and my body would still feel tense. Like I'd forgotten something important, but there was nothing to remember. It wasn't anxiety exactly, it wasn't stress, it was alertness. We live in a culture that confuses urgency with importance. If something is loud, it must matter. If something interrupts, it must be critical. If something demands attention, it must be addressed. But urgency is not truth, it's a delivery method. And right now, everything is being delivered like it's breaking news, including emails that could have been a thought. This is why calm feels harder to access lately. Not because you've forgotten how to relax, but because your nervous system rarely gets evidence that it's safe to do so. No clear endings, no real closures, just constant partial attention. Even our rest is interrupted. Scrolling, background noise, half watching something while half thinking about tomorrow. You live in this strange middle state. Not panicked, not calm, just permanently on edge. Everything feels like an emergency because your system doesn't know how to tell the difference anymore. And that's the irony. We're constantly reacting to things that feel urgent while the things that actually matter are the ones we hope never happen. And that's where today's sponsor actually fits in. One of the things that's helped me calm that constant sense of urgency is knowing that the important stuff is actually handled. That's why we use Cove at home. Cove is a DIY home security system that gives me real peace of mind without adding more noise to my life. I was able to customize it with a quick online quiz, so I only got what my home actually needed, no overkill, no complexity. Setup took about 30 minutes, no tools, no drilling, no contracts, and now with 24/7 professional monitoring for police, fire, and medical emergencies, I don't have to keep that low-grade what if running in the background. I can check in from my phone, see what's happening in real time, and then actually relax, which feels rare these days. If you're starting the year craving a little less stress and a little more certainty, this is an easy win. Make protecting your home one of your New Year's resolutions. Check out Cove at covesmart.com, use code MOTIVATED for an additional 10% off your first order. Easy, affordable, and peace of mind guaranteed. If you didn't skip that ad, congratulations, that was your first non-urgent moment of the day. The goal isn't to eliminate urgency. Some things really do matter. The goal is to retrain your nervous system to recognize when they don't. That starts by giving it something it rarely gets anymore, clearer signals of safety. Not affirmations, not optimization, signals. One of the simplest is ending things. I notice my body relaxes most when things actually end, not when they pause, not when they linger, like actually finishing conversations, closing loops and letting moments resolve. When you're done working, be done. When you're resting, actually rest. When you respond to something, don't keep mentally rehearsing it afterward. Your nervous system needs conclusions, not just inputs. Another is creating quiet that isn't filled. Not silence with a podcast, not downtime with a feed, actual quiet. It doesn't have to be long, a few minutes is enough, long enough for your body to realize, oh, nothing's happening. And maybe the most important one is this. Stop treating every interruption like a decision. Most things don't need immediate attention, they need later. Urgency loses power when you stop responding reflectively. Not because you stop caring, but because your body finally gets the message that not everything is a threat. The irony is that when you slow your reactions, you often become more effective. Calmer responses, better judgment, less exhaustion, because your nervous system isn't constantly burning energy on false alarms. A calm life doesn't come from removing stress, it comes from teaching your body what isn't stressful. And right now, we've trained ours to think everything is. So if everything has been feeling like an emergency lately, that doesn't mean something is wrong with you, it means you're reacting to signals, not situations. And once you see that, you can start choosing which signals deserve a response. And the more often your nervous system learns that, the less everything feels like an emergency. Not everything needs your nervous system's full attention. Some things can wait, some things can be ignored, some things are just noise, and learning that difference might be the most calming skill you build this year. If this video helped you realize that nothing is actually on fire, that's probably a good sign. I make videos like this every week about why modern life feels the way it does and how to not let it completely wreck your nervous system. If that sounds useful, you can subscribe. If not, no pressure, this isn't an emergency.